Well, hello guys. I wanted to share with you some of these really cool things that I found at the Mercantile. At the Mercantile is where the dog groomer, the local dog groomer, she's in the same building. And so when I took Oliver to get a bath and nail trim, I just stayed and browsed through the store, and Percy has his appointment next week. So I'll get a chance to browse through the store again. And if I pick anything up then, I might include that in this video, or it might be in a separate video. I don't know how it's all gonna pan out, but I will definitely be showing you that everything I picked up in my thrifting adventures that are on the horizon. So the first thing I want to share with you is this really, really neat toy vintage cash register. And it kind of works, like some of the buttons work, some of them don't, and then they get stuck, but I don't really care about all of that. This part here is broken, but this thing is solid. It is really solid. I have not been able to get the drawer to come open. I think that that's like broken, but it says Tom Thumb, Western Stamping Company, Jackson, Michigan. Made in the USA, and then the rest of it is worn off. I will do a Google Lens on this and see if I can figure out what year this is from, and I will put it on the screen if I can figure that out. I paid $9 for it. I don't know if you can see that. There's kind of a glare. And this will look so cute under my vintage tree downstairs with the rest of my vintage toys. So that's what, I couldn't pass this up. It's so cool. I have never seen anything like this before. But boy, they sure made toys to last back in the day, didn't they? Because this thing is solid, solid metal. I apologize for the dogs. I don't know what they're on about. I know this morning when I got up early to take Olivia to school, I heard a pack of coyotes out in the woods, yipping and howling. Oh, I thought coyotes were like sleeping during the day, so I don't know if that's what they're barking about or what's going on, but if I'm gonna get this video filmed, I need to do it whether the dogs are barking or not. Okay, I think they've calmed down. I've only had to stop the video twice. Oh, anyway, let me get on with this really quickly. The next thing I found that's also gonna go down in my vintage room, not under the tree, but I'll show you when I get it placed, is this vintage baby rattle. Isn't that the cutest thing you have ever seen? I imagine this is probably from the 60s or 70s. I don't know for sure, but it's so stinking cute, and it's an elephant, which I love elephants. I would collect elephant figurines, but I don't need to collect anything else. So I don't. Even though I see elephant stuff all the time, I think, oh, that is so cute. I'm like, no. No, 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 I don't have any place to put it, so I'm not collecting elephants. But anyway, I paid $5 for it, and it's absolutely adorable. And then I picked this up, which is such a good deal. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It's a hen on a nest miniature, which I collect, as you know. And it's red, which I absolutely love, and it's one of the smaller ones. I'll have to compare it when I put it in place over there. I'll show you where I'm going to place it. Whether it's the same size as some that I've had already, or even a little smaller, but these things are so pricey. When you see them, they're like $20, $30 a lot of times, and I got it for $6. And as far as I can tell, there are no defects on this at all. No chips or cracks, nothing. So cute. My favorite color to decorate with, which is red. And I don't have a red. And up until now, I did not have a red hen on a nest. And there's no tag or writing on the bottom. But I was so excited to see that. And I found this on my second trip through. I always say, if you have a chance to go through the thrift store twice, do it, because you will see stuff that you didn't see the first time through. And I did not see this the first time through, so I'm really glad I had time to make a second trip through. The next item I picked up, I didn't really need this, but I just thought it was super cute. It's a vintage creamer, and it was only $1. They had it marked down to $1, and I love to collect these little clay pots, especially if they're like brown, or I like the brown and white ones as well. I have a whole collection of these up above my cabinets in the kitchen. I don't know if that's where I'll place this, but anyway, for $1, picked that up. The next thing I picked up was it's kind of eclectic. I thought it was really cool, but it was only $1. There's one booth there that has these type of tags, and just about everything in the booth is miniatures, and just about everything in the booth is only $1. So it's like, oh, and I love it. And a lot of the miniatures are old. So I saw this, it's a top, and I just thought it was so unique, so cool. I haven't tried to spin it. I will try spinning it, and if I can get it to spin decently, I'll video it. But I know exactly where I'm gonna put it, and I think it'll fit right in. So I thought that was so cute. I have 3 more items I want to share you. Well, technically 4, but the next 2 items were also in that booth that everything was $1, and they were these little tiny miniature kerosene lamps. So stinking cute. Look at them. And in comparison, I collect these little miniature kerosene lamps. I have never in my life seen one this small. This is the size I typically get. I just get this, have this up here for comparison. And I've never seen them smaller than this. So when I saw these and they were only $1 each, I could not leave those behind. I snatched those up, put them in my basket quicker than you can say basket. So cute. And these will go up with the rest of my little miniature oil lamp collection. Now the last item, I already have it in place, so I'm gonna have to take the camera down to show you. But it's a pair of little Japanese figurines. They're kind of Eastery, but I'll probably leave them up all the time, or all spring and summer, because I thought they were so cute. There were a pair of them, and I paid $5. So let me get the camera down and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I have little by little started decorating for spring, for Easter, and like I said, this arrangement here will probably stay here all spring and summer. These are the little figurines that I paid $5 for. They were called Babies with Bunnies or something like that. So stinking cute. You can see it came from Japan. I just think they're adorable. Definitely springy, but I think you can have bunnies out more than just at Easter time. So I'm going to leave those out all summer. And here's the other one. They're so cute, and they're perfect condition, not broken, nothing. So adorable. All right, let me get the rest these other items washed up and placed, and I'll show you where I have them. This is the shelf where I have all of my miniature, like itty bitty tiny creamers, my little miniature oil lamps, and my itty bitty tiny miniature owls. And this is where I'm gonna try to fit these. That might be challenging. Let me do that off camera, and then I'll bring you back and show you how I have it rearranged. All right, so what I did is I pushed the little miniature pictures together, and I already had that owl on that end, and so I put one in the middle and then one on this side. So then I made space And I'm going to put this one right there. And then I made space over here. And I'm going to put this one right there. So stinking cute. Oh my goodness. I love tiny things. I'm going to attempt to spin this top. Well, not great. I mean, it's spinning, but not like, oh, there we go, kind of. It just has this tiny little spot, you know, spinner point. So anyway, isn't she cute? So adorable. Let's go put it in place. So I'm going to put it over here in my little eclectic spot. She fits perfectly right there. Oh my goodness, that is so cute. Oh my goodness. Love it. All right, we're going to place the hen on a nest, and for reference, it is much smaller than any of the other ones that I have. Prior to this one, this was the smallest one I had, and this is even smaller. Most typically you find them this size, and I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera, but there's quite a different size. There's quite a sizable size difference between the two. I think that's pretty cool. When I saw it in the store, I thought, oh, that is small, but I didn't realize it was quite that much smaller. So I'm just going to stick it right there. So I Google Lensed this, and it is from the 1950s. And it could not give me a specific like value on it. So what did I say? It was from the 60s and 70s. It was actually from the 50s. So that's cool. And then this, I Google Lensed this, and it's from the mid 40s, but they were produced up through the 60s. So, but this particular style was probably from the early 50s, according to Google. And the value of it, it said depended upon condition, which this is a pretty decent condition except for that glass there. And then I don't know, like I said, I can't get the drawer to come out, but it said anywhere from $25 to $100. And I paid $9. So even if it's only worth $25, then I still got a really excellent deal on it, and I love it. I love finding these interesting things out. So fantastic. So let's get my vintage toys placed. The rattle, of course, is going to come over here with my vintage doll. So I'm going to move this somewhere else. And I'm just going to put this right here on her tray. And this cup, which also has an elephant, was actually my cup when I was a little tyke. So that's cool. So that goes there. And then so this little toy and the cash register I'm going to put under the tree. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right. Just stuck them down there. Was not a big deal. And I think it looks so cool. I just love it. I'm getting more and more vintage toys, and I'm in love with it. Well, hello friends. It is another day, and I had another opportunity to go thrifting. I had my massage appointment this week, and I've said it many, many times, my massage therapist is right across the street from Twice Treasured, which is my favorite vendor mall / thrift store. So, of course, I had to go in there, and I picked up several things. Also, As you know, or you maybe don't know if this is your first time to my channel, I have a fairly small home. I have a lot of collections. I am a maximalist, but because I am running out of room, I mainly thrift smalls or useful items like that I can use in the kitchen or whatever, or storage, things that are also decorative as well as storage. So let's go ahead and get started. I think this is going to be a fairly long video with my clips that I've already filmed from the mercantile. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I picked up was this stamp, and I paid $5 for it. And I'm not going to use it as a stamp. I'm going to use it in my decor. I was specifically thinking about Easter for this, but I can use it all year long because faith is very important to me and is a big part of my life. So yeah, I just thought this was great. There's one whole entire booth that is nothing but stamps, and I usually skip that booth because I don't use stamps. But then I thought, well, I wonder if I could if they had something that I really liked, I could use it in my decor rather than for its intended purpose. As well as I could use it for its intended purpose if I wanted to. And so I went in, and I was really glad I did because I love this stamp. The next thing I picked up were these very unique salt and pepper shaker set, vintage. Paid $1.50 for the set, and I just thought they were very unique. They're small. I love the detail at the bottom. This detail at the bottom. They have like a plastic stopper, and I just like them. I like to collect little tiny salt and pepper shakers, and I didn't have any like this. This was really cool, and I've never actually even seen any like this before. So, and for $1.50, you can't beat that. So the next item I picked up was a book, and I didn't buy it because of the title or because I wanted to read it. I bought it because it's very old, and I really like the color of it and the size of it. And I will definitely just be using this in my decor. It's called Carmen and Other Stories by Maramy. I think that's what it said. Prosper Maramy, yeah. It's a French. It's got the little thing, so I know I'm not saying it right. But anyway, Carmen and Other Stories, and the copyright date is 1907. And it was only $3. As you all know, I love Winnie the Pooh, and I love to collect Winnie the Pooh items if I can find them, which, believe it or not, they're fairly hard to find. And sometimes they're very expensive. And I don't want to just buy anything I see that's Winnie the Pooh. I want it to be something unique, something I've never seen before, something that's old. So, you know, I don't find what I want to buy very often. But today I actually found two Winnie the Pooh items. The first one is this Tigger toy. I don't know the year on it. I don't think it's super old. This is probably from the 90s, maybe. I'll have to do a Google Lens it. I'll have to Google Lens it and put it on the screen. But it was so cute, and I don't have very many Tigger things in my collection. It was marked $5, but that booth, everything in that booth was 20% off, so I only paid $4 for it. And he's just a little rubber, oop, uh-oh, I didn't know it was gonna squeak. A little rubber toy. I'm sure that kids would play in the bathtub with it or whatever. But yeah, that got the dog's attention. This is not a dog toy. And then the other thing, oh, Percy's sniffing it. No, boys. No, not a toy. The other thing I got that's Winnie the Pooh is actually a cookie stamp. I'm not going to use it for that, but it's a Christopher Robin and a classic Pooh. This is the first Christopher Robin thing I've ever found. And it's, like I said, it's a cookie stamp. And it was only $6, which I thought was fantastic, because this is, you know, anything with Winnie the Pooh is automatically going to be more expensive. And this is nice and heavy. I don't know how much cookie stamps go for ordinarily, but yeah, $6, and it's in perfect condition. I don't know that it's ever been used. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. So I got that. Oh man, you guys are over here. You see this little stinker? He's going to get him. He's going to have a spa day today, aren't you? You're gonna go to the groomer and get a bath, are you? Get your nails trimmed? You're gonna be a good boy? Probably not. My hope is that the groomer doesn't tell me after she's done with him to never bring him back. Oh, anyways, let's go on. Let's move on. All right, the next thing I picked up, I looked at it for quite a while and I wasn't sure if I wanted to get it. I don't know if I'll stick it in with my Christmas stuff. I probably will, but it was this little, and the reason I got it is because it was only $1, and it's made of brass, and it's a little girl, choir girl candle holder. And I don't know that I'll put it in with my Christmas stuff. It's not necessarily super Christmassy. I'll just find a spot for it. Maybe up on my shelf with my other brass pieces over there. So I got that for $1. Okay, so the next piece I got, because it was so unique, it's actually an Avon bottle, and it's milk glass Avon bottle, perfume bottle, with the stopper. I just smelled it a little bit ago, and it doesn't stink. I mean, it kind of smells like what my grandma smelled like, but my grandma collected a lot of Avon stuff, so she very well could have worn this perfume. I don't know if it says Elusive is the name of the cologne. But I thought this would look so cool up on my dining room shelf with the rest of my milk glass stuff. And I have never seen anything like this with the hand. And it's even got like a bracelet. It's just so cool. It is so stinking neat. And I paid $5 for it. It definitely needs to be cleaned up. It's got some residue or something there, but I always clean everything really well before I place it. All right, the next piece I got was a miniature cowbell. I collect these. This was only $3, and I think it maybe has been, somebody took some rub and buff or something to it. I'm not really sure, but if you look down inside, you can kind of see that brass color. So maybe not, maybe that's the original color for it, but I don't have any this size. And I do collect these little miniature cowbells. So for, what did I say? $3 for $3. That's great. I like to spend $5 or less for my cowbells. So there's that. And then the next item is an item that I collect, obviously, and they're very hard to find. That's why I have a very, very small collection at this point, and that is candle snuffers. I typically I like the more vintagey ones. I think this one's a little bit more modern, but just to find a candle snuffer anymore in the thrift stores is very challenging. I think a lot of people maybe collect them, but I'm gonna just stick this in my jar with my other candle snuffers, and eventually I will have a whole bouquet of them. I liked it because it's different. I love the shape of it. It's got the star at the end, and the snuffer part actually like swivels, and I really liked it. And I paid, what did I pay? I paid $6 for it. Only have 3 more items to share with you. The next item is a miniature planter, vintage planter. I collect those as well. I'm very particular about them. I don't buy just any old one I see. They have to be unique, something I've never seen before, something old. I want it to be vintage, something in fairly decent shape. And yeah, so, because you can find little miniature planters like everywhere, but they're not always old and not always vintage. They're not, some of them are very generic. And I steer away from those. But this one I thought was so cool. It says Japan on the bottom. That's a clue that it is older. And I have a thing for little boys and girls or little couples, like kissing couples. These guys aren't kissing, but it just looks like they're up. What does it look like? Oh, it looks like he's climbed up on the balcony to see his sweetheart. And it's tiny. This thing is really tiny. It's hard to even call it a planter because it's so small. But I'm sure that's what it was. You could put like a succulent or something in it because it looks like it maybe it had dirt on the inside at one time. But it does have a Japan stamp on the bottom. So I'll put this on my shelf with my other planters. And it was only $1 if I didn't already say. I keep forgetting to tell you the prices. It was only $1. Now this next item, I picked this up out of the booth that with the person, I think it's a woman, who creates all these strange, eclectic, mixed media figures and things, scenery and things like that. I have a whole collection of them back there up on that tray. You've seen them a bunch of times. And she's the one that makes the little robots out of blocks of wood. I mean, she just takes like what you would call junk and turns it into something neat and interesting. And she had a bunch of the Mr. Salty and Mr. Pepper salt and pepper shakers that I collect, the wooden ones. And she must have gotten some that didn't have their pair. They weren't in a pair. So she created something new out of them to resell. And I looked at them and looked at them. She didn't have a ton of them. She just had 2 or 3. And this one I just kept coming back to because I just think it's so cool, so interesting, so unique. And I paid $5 for it. It's a Mrs. Salty, and what I loved about it is that she had taken actual vintage flowers and this little vintage like a blow mold, not a blow mold. Well, I don't know, it's, I can't remember what on the tag, what it said, but this is like a vintage glass bauble, and she took these vintage flowers and glued it on her head like a little hat, and I think it's absolutely adorable. And like I said, it was only $5. All right, my last item was the most expensive item, and it's downstairs. I already took it downstairs. I already have it in place. So let me go ahead and get you off of here, and I'll take you down and show you what I'm talking about. All right, this is the last item. It's this vintage Samsonite luggage. I watch a lot of thrifting channels, vintage channels, and decorating channels. I mean, all the things that I love to do, I watch channels like that. And so many of the channels that I watch they collect vintage suitcases and they stack them up kind of like my picnic baskets upstairs, and they use them for storage. So I got this, I don't know what year it is, but it's definitely old. It's in excellent shape. It was normally $20. I got it for $16 because it was on sale. Now, theoretically, I should have this one on the bottom because this one's slightly bigger. But this one is actually, when I bought it, it was labeled a briefcase, and it's kind of made out of cardboard. And so I don't think it would withhold or withstand the weight of having that suitcase stacked on top of it. So I know this, it looks a little bit different because it's kind of backwards with the smaller one on the bottom, but I just really wanted to stack these suitcases together. As time goes by and I collect more of these vintage suitcases, I'll probably reconfigure this and stack them independently somewhere else. But for the time being, that's where it's going to be. And I currently have all of my vintage aprons for Murtis, my dress form, stored in there. So like I said, they're excellent, excellent for storage. I think I had a delivery and that's why the dogs are carrying on. But while I'm down here, I'll show you I placed my Winnie the Pooh, my Tigger, and my Christopher Robin cookie press. Place those down here with my Winnie the Pooh collection. And before I go back upstairs to show you where I placed the items upstairs, I'll show you where I put that little planter. So this is my shelf where I put my little vintage planters. That is not a planter, but anyway, it's full. It's getting full, isn't it? So I'm either going to have to stop collecting these or find a different shelf. Which do you think I'll do? I'll probably, you tell me in the comment section below. Which do you think I'll do? Stop collecting these or find a bigger shelf? But anyway, that's where it's at. And if you can kind of see the theme of the planters that I like to collect, it's the little children and animals. I'm a mother at heart. I'm a mother and a mother at heart, and so I love collecting little children figurines and animals. And the animals are all poultry. I just noticed that. Duck, or goose. Duck, goose. I'm in a silly mood. Duck, goose, duck, stork. And then the rest are little children. That's just a little doggy figurine that I stuck there. If I find another planter, I will find a different spot for that little figurine. So anyway, that's that. So let's go ahead and go back upstairs and I'll show you where I placed everything else. So Aunt Jan, you'll have to tell me if Grandma ever wore a perfume called Elusive from Avon, because it smells like Grandma. This perfume does. All right, before I wrap this video up, I just got back from taking Percy to get groomed for his spa day, and just like the first part of this video when I had gone and taken Oliver, I shopped while Percy was getting his bath and his nails trimmed, and I did come home with a few things. Not as much as the first time because I'd already seen everything, but I did pick up a couple of things that were either new or I hadn't seen there the first time. You know how I love boxes, and I saw this. It's actually 4 recipes. It's a recipe box, and it was $5. And I have a box that I've been using for my recipe cards that I'm going to switch out. I'm going to use this for my actual recipes, and then the other box that I have, I'm going to use it for a riser. I am always looking for risers in my displays and stuff. So that's why I love little wooden boxes. So got this one for $5. And then I saw another box, and this one was only $1, and it was from California redwood. I'm assuming that's what the wood is made out of. And then it's got this picture on the front of one of the California redwoods, I guess. I didn't buy it because of the picture. I bought it because it's the perfect size and the perfect height, and it was only $1 to use as a riser. And then there's one booth that I buy something from this booth every time I'm there, because everything in the booth is either $1 or $2. It's the booth where I got all my little fabric mice a couple of months back. And so I love to go through that little booth because it's, you know, it's like shopping at the dollar store. And I again found some things. I found one item that I had seen the last time I was there, and I decided not to get it. And then when I came home, I'm like, why didn't I get it? And like I said, these were all $1. It's this tiny, tiny, tiny little bird. Now, I think it's a chicken. I'm not positive. Maybe not. Maybe not a chicken. But it's this tiny little bird. I'm going to stick it with my chicken stuff because it could be a little chick. I don't know. But it's so cute. It's made out of a plastic. So it's old. It's like that hard plastic. Then I saw this. You know, I just showed you in the last clip how I had gotten that Mrs. Salty wooden salt shaker that they had put the flowers on the head. Well, I found a Mr. Pepper, but it's not wood. It's made out of ceramic. And there was no Mrs. Salty to go with it, just a Mr. Pepper, and it was so different. So now I have a Mrs. Salt and Mr. Pepper, but they're not matching, but that's okay. And this was made in Japan. So I just thought this is really unique. I was a little bummed that it didn't have its mate, and I looked and looked and looked everywhere to make sure I didn't overlook it, but no, it was just Mr. Pepper, but that's okay. I'll fit him up on my shelf. And then this is something that was probably there the last time and I completely missed it. This little mouse. I have one that I got in the same booth, which has the lawyer and the judge, and now here's the policeman. And so obviously I will be styling these with that other set. So super cute on wood, just like the other one was. And then I was just talking about my obsession with my vintage planters. And after I bought one more, that shelf was going to be full. I bought one more. It was a duck or a goose. I don't know. It says on the tag swan, but I know for a fact that's not a swan. The neck's not nearly long enough. I think it's probably a goose. I'm not 100% sure, but it was only $4. And it's so cute. And there's no chips, cracks, nothing. It is vintage, it's old, and I love it. And so I'm gonna have to go put this where that little dog figurine is. And the jury is still out. You guys tell me in the comment section below. Will I stop buying them or will I get a bigger shelf? I think you probably know the answer to that. And then the last item I picked up, I got it because they're so unique. Look at these. They're made out of wood. I have never in my life seen wooden tulips, and they're so pretty. And they were $9.95. And I know exactly where I'm going to put these, but I can't show you that in this video because it's going to be my centerpiece on my dining room table, and that's going to be in a separate video, a crafting video. when I do that centerpiece. So you'll have to wait to see where I place these, or how they look where I place them after that video. And that's the same for the praying hands stamp. It's going to be going on my centerpiece, so it'll be in a different video. He's worn out after his trip to the spa. Look at this cute little bandana, and he smells so good. She puts doggy cologne on them. Oh, he smells so good. He's worn out though. It was quite the adventure. All right, friends, that is it for this long video full of vintage shopping. I absolutely love it. You know how much I love thrift shopping and vintage shopping. I found some really, really cool items this time around. I can't even tell you which is my favorite. I think the wooden tulips are kind of high up there on the list of my favorites. But anyway, friends, oh, and I also wanted to tell you that the dogs were barking earlier and I said it was probably a delivery. It was. It's Olivia's cap and gown for her graduation. She's going to be graduating in May, the first week of May. So anyway, it was a delivery and it was her cap and gown. So something else to look forward to in the future. All right, friends, in the comment section below, leave me a comment. Let me know which is your favorite item I picked up today. Let me know your opinion on my planter collection. And just thanks so much for watching, friends. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and have a wonderful weekend. And we will see you again next week with a brand new video. Bye-bye, friends.